Hello, you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by...
As always, Steve Medaka.
And
Jay.
holding his lollipop like a cigar, doing his best Kojak.
If you're a watcher of the show, he's been eating the same lollipop for multiple days.
Who loves you, baby? Today we are doing a movie about the seasons and the weather.
And for all seasons.
Yeah. And
1966.
I think a fun parody movie of this would be you get the California Raisins and you put them in the movie.
Topical.
Yeah, and you call the movie A Man for All Raisins. It's about a man who loves the California raisins.
Is this a Simpsons joke from like 1991?
It seems like it could be, but this is just my bizarre mind.
I feel
that
like I
I've been
want to
thinking
walk
of.
away. You know, like after that, that's a joke where I just want to be like, nope, it's too soon.
Well,
we just started.
He supports all
We
raisins.
just
man.
started the episode.
He's for all raisins.
We get it. Yes, raisins. Yes, it's good.
This movie, I think, is going to be interesting because there's a very dissenting opinion between the two of you
it's
via
gonna be,
text immediately.
This is going to be an interesting episode.
I think between the two of you. Because Aunt texted, this is like the best thing ever.
Movie's incredible.
And Steve was like, this is boring and I hate it.
Yeah. This is a very
well,
boring
if past
movie.
performance is to tell us anything, it's that Brian won't comment either way.
He's
What do you mean? I'll comment.
no, he's playing both sides. That way you always come out on top.
He's the post-sitting fuck.
Right.
Sitting on that fence.
Me and him me and you just going at it. He's just like,
Yeah.
I agree with both of you.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good movie.
You think it's really good or is it good?
I think it's a really good movie. I don't think it's like, it's not a $10 for me, but I think it's awesome.
Mm.
Like it has great shit.
I would say giving this the title of awesome is shocking, but okay. This is based off a play.
Yes.
Yes.
This is before like plays were flamboyant. You know?
You mean gay?
Yeah.
Plays have always
It's
like
been real.
yeah,
Like
they're still real
Shakespeare,
plays.
dude. Yeah, just because it's not
It's
a
not
Broadway,
Broadway.
musical, like that's what's gay. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
what I'm talking about.
not everything is Cats.
That's what I'm
Oh well,
never was there ever.
that's what this needed
A
at the
cat
end.
so
Wait, could you
I would
imagine?
much rather watch that.
Imagine Thomas More's like speech at the end.
Just Mr. Mistopheles
He goes
fucking
into
comes
song.
in.
He's like, I have something to say.
breaks into theater. Yeah.
The court's looking at
Yeah,
it.
fucking guy comes down wearing light up jacket,
Yeah.
fucking shooting electricity out of his hands, making cats appear. My word.
That would be so much more entertaining.
This movie is amazing, Steve.
This movie is
It's a master class in
a
acting.
snore fest.
Wow. Wow.
I do not disagree that it is a masterclass in acting, but that does not make an entertaining film.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. No, it
Steve's
doesn't.
like, I need explosion.
Yeah,
That's
what did you?
not
would-
what I'm saying.
How would you have improved it other than Mr. Mistopheles?
Which would improve every movie, by the way.
Agreed.
I understand the lessons. I understand the value in it. I understand the importance of how good the actors are. That's all good. But it's boring. The actual movie
Are you not
itself
interested in
is
the subject
boring.
matter?
The subject is pretty boring. The
But-
concept,
I don't think
the
so.
concept itself
You're talking about
also falls slightly
earth-changing
short.
events.
Forget about the earth-changing events for a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
The movie is still interesting just on a moralistic level and
Right.
one man's integrity.
You're watching how a society bears down on one man
and
how he
his
stands up
refusal
against-
to fucking
submit
submit.
to it.
It's
Yeah,
fucking
that's great.
admirable and
That's-
great.
Is it though?
This is
Yes.
something that we've all lived through in recent memory.
That is not so okay. This is supposed to be, and I don't know the real story 100% behind it. I know that there was this man who, well,
Thomas
let's
More.
do some backstory on this.
Okay.
Right? Because I think I hate this time period, first off. I'll admit that.
The
So
Renaissance?
I have a bias against it, yes. I think it lasted a very long time. It was
If
kind
I
of,
see fucking a Da Vinci, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I'm gonna punch my fist through the Mona Lisa. Fuck the Renaissance. The only Renaissance I like is the band.
I think it was a boring time.
How?
That's all. Anytime I read about it, anytime I watch something about it, I think aesthetically it's not that pleasing. I think that I'm not talking about the major works of art that stand out. I'm talking about the regular fucking stories, the regular men, the regular houses. Everything about this time for me
It's the
is
most
a boring
like
time.
flamboyant, colorful, like known for
Royalty. I'm talking about the commonality, the common people that you would see. Like this, even in this movie, it's the highest class of royalty. It is slightly flamboyant, but it's also slightly dull looking when you look at the houses, when you look at the fucking the builds inside the rooms. Even some of the outfits are kind of like, okay, this is whatever. It's just, to me, I don't like that era.
Do me
That
a
is
favor.
my opinion.
put up a picture right now on the screen of the Cathedral of Florence. Okay?
It's up there.
Show it to
Sure.
Beaver.
I can't see. I know. Yeah, thank you. I know what you're talking about. This is my opinion that out of all the eras that I read about in history, this is the one that I'm I'm the least interested in.
Okay.
So I have.
I can understand that.
I'm telling you, I have a bias against it,
All right.
and that's my bias. So immediately,
All right.
I don't like that era. So it's hard for me to get into.
Yeah, look at that.
It's a building, whatever. Like Notre Dame's more.
He's unimpressed.
Notre Dame's more impressive than that.
He prefers his Gothic cathedrals of Northern Europe than he does his Italian ones.
Yes.
Guy's going against your people.
Yes.
By the way, Notre Dame is a better cathedral.
Yes,
not.
it is.
No, it's not.
Thank you. Shake my hand.
No, it's not.
Yeah, we know what's up.
What do you got against Notre Dame?
Not a goddamn thing. It's an amazing piece of architecture. Firenze, magnifique.
That will,
All right, how about the Saint Mark's Cathedral in Venice?
Oh, I thought you meant in New York. Isn't there a Bleecker Street?
Bleecker Street.
Joe's on
Isn't-
Bleecker Street.
Look how awesome these cement buildings are.
Isn't the St. Mark's Hotel like a legendary like shithole?
I think so.
St. Mark's is kind of a legendary bad block to be on. Like, enjoyable if you know what you're doing, but for the most part, it smells bad. But yeah, so immediately that's where I stand. So I might hate it more so than others.
I hear you say that, and it sounds like crazy talk to me
right.
because it's the Renaissance.
But away from that,
Right.
the actual movie itself, nothing is going to capture you. At least visually. It's not visually stunning. The outfits are cool, but it's not visually
I don't
stunning.
think it's that well directed,
It's
personally.
not. It really isn't.
Wow.
I
Guys are haters, Jonathan.
The scores aren't even good.
mean, like
I felt nothing
he
for
won,
at any moment.
He won Best Director, so it's like it's dumb. It's kind of dumb of me to say that, but and you know what? No, maybe I should correct myself. I don't think it's extraordinarily directed, where it's like
You shouldn't have
award-winning?
won. You should have won Best Director. But then again, what's Best Director in '66?
no. Well, it's like there's not flashy directing, right?
Yeah.
But I do think he accurately paints a picture of the story and lets
It's very accurate.
and lets the performances take hold.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like he's showing you what
Letting the music do the talking,
He's
like
sho-
Aerosmith
He's
said.
showing you what you need to see rather than like guiding the camera and floating around, you know? So,
Yeah.
and there's a couple of shots in here that I think are really cool. My favorite shot in the movie is the first time we see Robert Shaw as King Henry and he pops in front of the sun
Great.
and it's like illuminating.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it was done well. He's the best part of the movie. Is the king.
He's amazing. Robert Shaw's incredible in this.
But the feelings that you have for these characters fall short, and I think it's possibly because of the directing. I do. Because like even at the end, like I don't want to skip ahead, but I was just like, okay, I get it, but okay, like this is we'll get into it.
Do you
but-
know like the importance of all this?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But I also know that there's contradicting ideas involved as well that really bothered me too, that I'll get into. And let's do some backstory then.
Okay. So we're in England in the early 1500s. This is an extremely turbulent time in Europe. Martin Luther has just recently.
He has a dream.
He's a king.
I have a dream.
Not
You
that
thought you were
one.
going to get through that? You thought you were going to get a sentence out?
Yeah, good luck, asshole.
Do me a favor, look up the exact year of the 95 theses. But he nailed his problems on the wall in Germany.
1517.
1517. So we're after that.
He's a German man.
He's German.
And he's mad about indulgences, right?
Mad about a lot of things. The Catholic Church, which is the preeminent organization in Europe at the time, obviously, it's internationally.
Are they controlling basically every country, essentially?
Sort of.
In a weird way.
They are definitely in a lot of places in opposition to the secular rulers.
Okay.
They are the ones producing morality, how people think, how they're taught, how science
Rules to
goes through
live.
them. Yeah. They are society itself, And Martin Luther comes along and he points out, and he's not alone in this, other people have made criticisms before, problems that the church is having. A lot of them are very legitimate. Like there are bishops all over the place that have secret families, that they're hiding and paying for with like church dollars.
Okay.
There's indulgences. We talked about that. That's for anyone who doesn't know, is the sale. Like you will, like a loved one dies, and then you pay the church to have their sins alleviated, not forgiven, but the damage caused by that sin is alleviated.
Okay, so it's less like of a punishment, I guess.
Only God can forgive sin, but what they can do is
wait. I have a question.
Yes,
because all right. So only God can forgive sin. I thought that's what confessional is. I thought that's where you're forgiven.
Yeah, through God.
Okay, so the indulgences are
the indulgence is like
post-death.
My sin has caused damage in the real world.
Okay,
and I give this to make up for that. That's what an indulgence is.
It's like
it's misunderstood that people are like buying their way out of heaven, into heaven. That's not it. It's more nuanced than that.
But can you still do confessional?
Of course.
So why? I don't understand.
You have to do confession. That's way more important.
Yeah, you got to get to the middleman. The priest is the middleman between God.
But I don't understand why you need to do indulgences if you could just do confessional. That's what I'm confused about.
It's like a way to socially, like your standing would improve.
Okay.
And this creates the illusion, or not so illusion is the wrong word. It creates the thought that the more economically wealthy are holier.
Okay.
Because you can do this.
Because you could do this anytime you need to.
Yeah. And thus better.
That makes sense.
Priests are,
which Jesus wouldn't
money.
like, it seems. Based on
right. There's all kinds of problems happening.
At the end of the day, it's still being run by men.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a human organization.
Money for people.
Money for the human fund. But beyond that, those are the problems he has with the church. But those in itself doesn't create a new religion. You can criticize the church and tell them you need to reform, because they do. He has a lot of doctrinal problems too. Well, he believes that oh my God, it just left my mind. He believes in sola scriptura, which means that only
this is what Luther believes.
Yes, only the Bible itself and the words in it dictate what the faith should be. Like tradition,
we don't need a pope.
Tradition doesn't play a part in it. The pope is out. The pope is a tradition that right. Not just
follow the book. You don't need
only what's in the book matters.
Yeah.
He also believes that faith alone leads to salvation. So you just believe in God, in Christ, and you will go to heaven. It has nothing to do with acts. Your actions on earth merit.
You don't
nothing.
need to go to confession or anything like that. If you believe Christ and you're true,
but then the Cardinals can't get gold chains, bro.
Protestant Steve.
And Luther, another thing he believed was that Superman is evil and cannot be trusted.
Right.
Lutheranism.
Right. He's recording. Don't panic. He has PTSD. We're good.
He made him lose his hair.
So in doing this and in saying that people should separate from the church, this is also a time when you're getting the first inklings of what a nation is. Statehood is coming into being, meaning the idea that the people that live in a certain country or area, kingdom, are an ethnic group maybe, or even just like citizens of that place.
We all belong here.
And
They're
we
collective.
want to work towards the betterment of that outside of just Christendom.
Uh-huh.
You know, like whereas like I'm an Englishman or I'm a Frenchman.
Yeah.
You know, that idea is starting to take hold right around this time at the same time. It gives a lot of credence to the rulers themselves. If the people are attached to the government other than just living on the land of their ruler, they have stake in the game.
Yes.
This leaves an opportunity to these guys. So Martin Luther immediately becomes ostracized by the rest of the
Well, he's
world.
excommunicado.
He's
right?
excommunicated. He's not in Marillion.
He should have been. Incommunicado.
But the local German princes see an opportunity here. If they can get people to get on board with separating from the Catholic Church, there's a ton of land around that the Catholic Church owns that they can now confiscate.
Okay.
Resources.
Yeah. There's a lot of money and power to be gained here by going in rebellion to the church.
You're removing an overlord from you, basically,
Right.
you know?
Now that's more or less of what starts to happen in Germany and Holland, and then it'll spread to Sweden and Norway and places in Finland, places like that. In England, it's a different story. England,
Spain.
Henry is a tyrant. There's no way around that.
Henry VIII?
Yeah. He is a brutal fucking taskmaster. I heard when I was looking into this, the number over 72,000 beheadings happened during his reign.
Just
government beheadings.
Left and right.
Take this guy, chop his head off.
I guess that happens when you have an entire nation excommunicated under your banner.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be people that have a problem with that. He is married to Catherine of Aragon, Spanish princess.
Aragon, of course, from the Kingdom of Men.
That's Aragorn. Well, Lord of the Black Land, bring himself forth. I don't know why he becomes Scottish.
Yeah,
that one moment. She has not given him a son, so there is no direct heir to the throne.
That's a problem.
It's a huge problem because there's going to be a dynastic squabble.
There'll
At the
be
very least,
war.
not necessarily civil war, but
Civil
at the very least, there will be questions that people might not like the answers to. Yeah. You know,
what do you think would have happened had there?
Well, what did happen? He never had a son.
Oh, you never ended up having one?
No.
Oh, okay.
There was a
War
lot
of the Roses?
No.
That happened before that.
Okay.
There was a lot of strife. Mary, Queen of Scots, his daughter, became the queen. She was a staunch Catholic, tried to revive the faith. Elizabeth took over, his other daughter. She eventually leads them to the Golden Age, right?
Okay.
And has her sister imprisoned in Scotland, where she dies in a convent, I think. So Henry wants a divorce. The Pope is not going to give him one.
Now, a regular person cannot get a divorce, correct?
You need dispensation from the papacy.
It has to come from them.
Yes.
And everybody. King.
At this time, yeah.
Okay.
The Catholic Church still does not recognize divorces.
Yeah, I know.
You can get a divorce, in the state of New York or the state of New Jersey. You're not getting one in the Catholic Church.
So let me ask you a question. Hypothetically, you get divorced, right?
Right.
You meet a girl and want to remarry. Would the
church isn't going to allow it.
The church would not let you remarry.
Right.
Okay. So what would you? I guess you would just do.
I'd have to leave the church. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you somehow get permission, under like a crazy circumstance, like there's incest involved or fucking, crazy shit like that.
Or you'd have to reach out and talk to the Pope
which is like the different types of loopholes that Henry was trying to find.
Okay. Yeah.
He was a defender of the faith, going into this. He'd written a book. They talk about it in the movie, In Defense of the Sacraments, I think it's called. So when the movie begins, you got Cardinal Wolsey, played by great Orson Welles. Looking as drunk and fucked up
he
as
looks
that looks.
So
wrecked.
bad.
He looks wrecked.
I barely even recognized him.
He looked like he was on death's door. Which
But his
maybe that was
character-
on purpose.
His character is supposed to be.
It's supposed to be on Death's Door. Yeah.
Wolsey is like a legendary figure in English history. He's
a really
like
important.
a cutthroat guy. He tried to become Pope.
Yeah.
He doesn't become Pope, but he's Henry's like top advisor, and is working his ass off to try and get the special dispensation for the divorce. He's working for Henry. He doesn't do it, and Henry falls out of favor. Henry fires him, and because he's Henry VIII and he's a fucking maniac, has to have his.
I
head
didn't get
chopped
my
off.
way.
Right.
Killed
On
him.
the way to his execution, he died in bed.
Okay.
So he never actually got beheaded, but he was about to be.
Yeah.
He calls Thomas More to speak with him to try and get him on board with the whole thing. Now, Thomas More is part of the Privy Council, which is like, if you remember,
They're in charge of toilets.
The Council of Privies.
Council of Privies.
The House of Lords. Are we going to allow the privies to be flushed this month?
It's the first.
Have the peasants got their privy licenses?
It's like the first janitors union.
Yeah.
Do you remember Game of Thrones? They had the small council, like the top guys would get together and talk about business,
Yeah.
the business of the realm.
Business.
That's what this is.
Okay.
Um,
By the way, the book is Defense of the Seven Sacraments.
there you go.
defense.
Yeah. Thomas is part of that. He's a lawyer. He's known to be an extremely honest lawyer. He's got a wealth of respect.
He's already a
He's
knight.
well known throughout Europe.
Mhm.
He's written a book called Utopia. In fact, he is the person that invented the word utopia.
Okay, I didn't know that.
It is like
But did he invent Dinotopia?
That's
dinosaurs.
the only thing that matters.
You loved Dinotopia
As a kid, I had a lot of those books.
He likes the oats.
I got really excited. I got really excited when I found out a show was being made for it.
And then the show
The
sucked.
show sucked.
I watched the show
Yeah.
too.
Oh, you have the Dinotopia books?
My brother loved
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
they were good.
We used to do puzzles with the
Yeah.
artwork. The artwork was awesome.
Artwork is still
Incredible.
fantastic
Yes.
to this day. It really transports you into the world. So
But Utopia is essentially like the perfect society.
Yeah.
Hence the word. It's very Catholic. But yeah, he's very well known throughout Europe. That's why he's important.
But why is he a knight? That was one of my questions.
He's been knighted. I'm not sure exactly
He just
why.
did some shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sir Thomas.
So Thomas.
Henry is also waging wars in France. It's not really in the movie, but that happens.
I should also.
They're always
I,
waging war
I
with
saw
France,
his
right?
armor yesterday. I went to the Met yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have two different armors owned by Henry VIII on
Okay.
display. One of them is a younger Henry, where he's
Young, svelte.
Oh yeah, and then you got big fat old Henry. It's great. And like when you read the car that they had, the plaque they have set up about it, it's like talking about how he had gout and shit.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't wear his shit. The king's disease.
What was very distracting about this is
Didn't you get gout?
I have had gout in the
he's
past.
basically
yes.
Henry
Yeah.
VIII. Very distracting trying to watch this because my wife walks in and she's like, "Oh, what are you watching?" And I'm like, "Oh, Man of All Seasons, Henry VIII nonsense." And she would every time walks in, sees the movie, starts going, "I'm Henry VIII," and start every time. I couldn't get away from it.
Paul Scofield plays Thomas
Yes.
More. We've seen him before on the show. Do you know where?
No, I don't.
The Crucible.
It's like the same thing.
He's like the same character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's incredible.
Which character is he in? The
He's
Crucible?
like the High Inquisitor guy. Who shows up.
Oh, okay. The one who doesn't want to kill.
No,
like-
not him. The one
one who
who's like
does.
starts hanging people.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
By the way, we recorded the Crucible episode got released exactly 2 years ago today.
Wow.
Has it
Yeah.
been that long?
Yeah, I saw it on my Facebook
Jesus.
this morning.
Time's flying.
Yeah. But yeah, we can start the movie now.
Okay.
We kind of did
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
So yeah,
we're kind of at the cardinal passing away. That's in the movie. There's some characters that have to be introduced. This young guy, Richard. He
Richard
wants a
Rich.
job.
Richie Rich.
That's his name. Yeah.
Wow.
Real guy.
Yeah, he. Yeah, He wants a job. Thomas is like, no,
Yeah.
you're
He wants-
not good enough.
You're
You're
snake.
trash.
Yeah.
Well, you
He
can do-
recognizes him as like garbage immediately.
like what you could do is you could go teach.
Yeah.
And the
That's what-
Duke's
he's
there.
like, that's what you should do.
That's better for
Stay
you.
out of this world that you don't belong
That's your
in.
optimum trajectory.
Mhm.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
His destiny.
Duke Howard is there, and they're all just kind of like hanging out.
And
Yeah, they're at like a pub, I guess.
They're at
A
Thomas's
tavern?
house.
Oh yeah. Are they in his house?
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, not very aesthetically
There's a bunch of
different, is
people
it?
They're having a party.
Everything
or
looks the
get
same
together.
inside around this time. Yeah, and their party is kind of just sitting around talking about politics and stuff. Because
Alexa, shut up.
what else are you gonna do? You know.
the robots are gonna fucking kill you for that later.
Yeah. Yeah, Rocco's Basilisk is gonna get you. The movie, legit. A letter is sent out and then returned. So for the first 9 minutes of this movie, there's really not much happening at all, and that's what kind of was like, oh, this is.
Well, he
it's
sends.
a slow.
they
It's a
s-
slow crawl.
He gets summoned. The guy comes, gives him the fucking letter. They make fun of Wolsey, call him a butcher's son because he is.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, 9
Um,
minutes is a long time for.
Is it 9 minutes?
Yes.
Before he gets to Orson Welles?
Yes.
Well, you have to remember this is an
It's the-
older movie.
It's the credits.
They put the credits
yeah.
up front, and like, yeah, they take their time and they show you like a lot of the shots and
Yeah.
stuff.
It's a lot of
I'll be
scenery.
honest, I skipped through the credits because it was late at night.
No, you gotta sit through that, man.
cheated?
That's the
I
experience.
cheated a little, yeah.
No, that's
Ah.
the experience. Because then you would have been
I've
like,
seen the
"This is
movie
slow."
before.
Oh, okay.
Oh, where did you see it?
I just watched it. This is in Kevin Smith's perennial like top 10 movies
Really?
or top 5. Yeah, he, at
The
times
66 or the 88?
66. At times he said it's his favorite movie, which is why I wanted to watch it.
Mhm.
So I had seen this before because of that.
Right. I've seen it once before.
Yeah, me too.
I think I think I probably would have liked the 88 version better.
I didn't even know there was an 88.
Heston's
version.
in it.
Who does he play?
I don't know. I just saw Heston on the casting list, and I'm like, oh, I want to watch this one, and you both were like, no, the 66. I'm like, son of a bitch. And it's like a half hour shorter.
This movie's a masterpiece, dude. I don't get
No,
you.
it's a half hour longer, this one.
The 88
The
one?
Heston one.
88 was
yeah.
an hour 40.
Who does Heston play?
He's
Moore?
Thomas More.
It was like an
Wow.
hour 40, no?
Yeah. The funny thing is,
This one was 2 hours. What are you
This
talking
is
about?
actually the Heston one is 2.5.
That's not what it said on my thing. Okay.
Anyway, this is actually an interesting fact. So in the Heston one, Lady Alice is played by the daughter in
His wife, Alice.
Alice. Yeah.
Lady Alice. Yeah.
Lady Alice, Thomas More's wife, is played by the daughter in the 68 one.
Really?
Yeah. Vanessa Redgrave.
66.
Oh, we've seen her before too.
Yeah.
She was in the Crimea movie.
Yeah.
Charge of Light Brigade.
Charge of Library. That's it, yeah.
Huh.
I'm sorry, not the daughter. She's Anne Boleyn in this.
Oh, so she like doesn't even have a speaking role.
Barely, yeah.
Yeah.
But she is in this. And then Vanessa Redgrave, she's in the Heston one.
Mm.
So there you go. And Heston directed the 88 one.
Wow.
Oh, we'll be revisiting that in the future.
Yeah, we may have messed up.
No, we did
No,
not.
this is considered one of the greatest movies ever.
Yeah, but Heston.
I know.
So Orson Welles being fucking humongous.
Yeah.
He is, I didn't recognize him. He's so
Yeah,
huge,
he was big.
so drunk.
Was the real guy that big?
His yes. Well, towards the end of his life, he got fat, but you know,
Oh, okay.
who doesn't?
Right.
I plan to be riddled with cancer, so I thin out on my last days.
Jesus Christ.
You know, leave a nice looking corpse, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals pissed off that Thomas did not. He was the only one who went against him at the council
Right.
to allow the divorce to happen, I guess. Or
He's
to,
kind of like just kept silent about it and didn't get on board with it.
well,
when
but
brought
they
it
need
forward.
his vote.
Right. Well, his name would lend more weight to it, and he wants him to help him.
They want
work the Pope.
everyone on board with
Right.
this together.
working the Pope,
Yeah.
Yes.
and the Pope is not budging.
The more people that are on board, the
Mhm.
better the chances.
Respectable people.
Yeah. It's not going to make a difference, but if you're doing it, you want everyone on board.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Moore essentially tells him, "No, not helping you,
And
and then leaves. And he's on the way out. A commoner woman comes up to him and hands him a silver Italian.
well, it's a lot of
chalice.
commoners. It's a lot of
Yes.
people handing him
They're
bribes,
trying
Money
to
and
bribe
stuff.
him.
and he's taking some.
Right. Well, he's but he's like. She says that it's a gift. He realizes it's a bribe, and he immediately tries to get rid of
It's
it.
not a bribe.
It's not a bribe because that case was already settled. That's
Right.
what she says.
You ever
Mhm.
see the other guys when he's trying to bribe him with Jersey Boy tickets,
Yeah.
and he's just like, "This is a bribe." He goes, "It's not a bribe." It's like it's clearly a bribe. And it's like, "But do you want Jersey Boys or Mamma Mia?" They go to see Jersey Boys.
Who goes, Matt?
It's Mark
Will
Wahlberg,
Ferrell
Will
and-
Ferrell, yeah. And then they go back like, "You bribed us," and he goes, "Hold on." Courtside. They go to the next game again. That's what this
That's
is.
a funny movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He clearly took bribes.
No, he didn't.
What do you mean?
Once he realized what it was, he tried to toss it in the fucking river, in the Thames.
And then the guy was like, "That's worth money." And he's like, "Oh, you're right. I'll give it to
He
somebody
gives it to
else."
Richard Rich.
Yeah.
Still a bribe. You still took it in your hand. Like you took it.
It took him
Your
a minute.
intention
things
afterwards is-
happen. This poor woman is like, here.
Take this. You don't understand
yeah.
what's going on.
I
You're
get it.
surrounded by
I get
people.
Right.
I get it.
It's not like he used it for personal gain.
Right. And
I
it did not
get it.
affect the outcome of her
Because
ruling.
that case had already
Right.
been settled.
Yeah. Anyway, he goes home and there's a guy trying to bang his daughter in
Yes.
his house.
Will Roper.
Yes. Son William.
He wants
Future
to marry
movie
Meg.
reviewer.
He wants to. He wants to marry Meg, and Thomas is like, "No, you're a heretic Lutheran. Get the fuck out."
Well, he starts spouting off Lutheran shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he's like, get the fuck out of my house.
I'm a trash Catholic.
yeah. He's sitting there like, "Fuck the church, fuck everyone," and he's just like,
My ex-girlfriend was Lutheran.
Really?
Yeah.
"What's the exact difference between Lutheran and anything else, really?"
They're
What
more
is the
like they're more
main-
like Protestant.
They're Protestant.
They are
right?
Protestants.
Yeah.
Protestants is a giant
Branch,
umbrella
yeah.
term.
But Protestants like
Basically, you can
don't hate the
can
Catholic
kinda
Church.
split
Lutherans
Christian-
hate the Catholic Church.
you could split Christianity almost in two. You have Catholics
And Protestants.
and Protestants.
Yeah, but like
and
why?
Eastern Orthodox.
I would
is a
put
big-
Eastern Orthodox
As
more in your
Catholic?
camp.
Yeah.
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 Well, Protestantism essentially, and I'm going to sound like I'm shitting on it now, is like people got hold of the Gutenberg Bible in their own languages that's been translated now. Anybody can read the Bible, and they all just get whatever they want out of it. They just interpret it however they feel they can, and then it creates a new sect. Like John Calvin, famously.
If it's a body of work, yes, it's up for opinion. Yeah.
John Calvin is a guy who says that God has predestined where everyone goes when they die before, like they're
The
like,
second you're born.
there's nothing you do in life affects this. You're either going to heaven or hell, and God has chosen it before you were even born.
Oh, so you need to not live
Calvinist.
morally.
Calvinists, those
Yeah.
people would go on to create the United States. Those are the Pilgrims.
Yeah.
Those are the Puritans.
Yeah.
There's all, and then you can chop it up as little as you want. you
yeah,
know? There's literally hundreds of
Yeah,
different Protestant
I'm just
sects.
Yes.
asking specific. Is there
Oh,
anything
I told you
specific
already.
about-
The Lutherans are the ones that are like faith alone is salvation, sola scriptura. That's the Lutherans. That's Martin
Okay.
Luther.
and that spins off into the Anglican Church
Right,
for
yeah.
Protestants.
Once
and all
you
Well,
that.
they
did-
specifically hate the Catholic Church.
Well, they all
All
hate
these
the
people,
Catholic Church because
yes.
they're all breakaways from the
Yeah.
Catholic Church.
I don't think in America, I don't think there's a burning hate. I think more in like the places like Ireland and England.
It's interesting in that the 30 Years' War, which happens roughly 100 years after what we're talking about today, kind of put an end to all of that.
Okay.
Like everybody, like they were so terrible and so many people died. This 30 Years' War is essentially a German civil war on religious grounds that the rest of Europe gets involved with, and so many people die. It's World War I levels of devastation comparative. Like if you look at the population sizes,
Mhm.
they kind of all decide we're not fighting over this anymore. Like it's settled. There are two different faiths.
This
now.
is it.
There's Protestantism and there's Catholics. We're not going to kill each other about it anymore. They put religious warfare aside.
You say tomato, we say tomato.
Now, obviously,
Let's call the whole thing off.
like you brought up the Irish conflict, which is, that shit like that's going to happen no matter what. But on a large scale, nations on fighting over this.
Yeah. Look, we have a slight difference how we handle things with Jesus, but
Right.
you know, for the most
We're all
part,
Christians.
Yeah.
We got to look out for each other,
Yeah.
sort of.
I'm still gonna
kind of,
hate on
that's
you.
kind of where it ends up.
Yeah.
But I've went to like Lutheran services
Mass?
with her in the past. Yeah,
What did you like him?
not really. I mean, I was like, I'd rather be doing something else, but
Mhm.
I sat there respectfully.
Not a man of faith.
It's a different experience. You know, like they sing and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's different than like
I
when
hate
you
the
go to like a
singing.
Catholic
I hate the
church.
singing.
And like, you know, they're where we went, I can't remember which church it was on Staten Island, but you know, their cross is just bare and white. There's no Jesus in there.
Yeah, there's no crucifix.
Everything is more septic.
Yeah.
That's what they were all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all about like removing iconography, you know?
Yeah. So that was
Saints. They hate saints.
That was my experience with the Lutherans.
Very
Yeah.
Islamic of them.
Kinda.
I'm not even joking. That wasn't a
Yeah,
sarcastic
because
remark.
you can't put images of Muhammad.
They don't like that iconic.
Right.
Everything is
Well,
God,
does that
not-
stem from an interpretation of the original
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
Good.
Ten Commandments, right? Isn't one of them no images of God?
Well, that's what they'll tell you that saints are like pagan worship. You know, saints and Mary, specifically Mary, they don't like. Yeah.
I
There's
mean,
all
they-
kinds of
they
fucking
don't. It's not that they don't
problems.
like Mary. They don't like the
the
idea-
veneration that
veneration,
Catholics
yes.
give.
Yes.
and you
Makes
know
sense.
that was. Are they still the majority of the Christians in America?
The largest religion in the United States is Catholicism.
Really?
Yes. But there are more Protestants in the United States than Catholics, but they're all split up into different little things.
Okay.
So if you put them all together into one thing, yes, there's more Protestants.
Okay.
The only singular faith in the United States
Is
is Catholicism. Yes.
And did that change? I guess that had to change in the
It's
from 1900s
fairly
on,
recent.
right? Because you have the Italians, the Irish,
Right.
Mexicans.
All that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest Protestant sect is the Baptists, and they're in the South.
Okay.
Marvel's gaining steam on Catholicism.
Well, Marvel is the new religion. Some will tell you.
Wow, who told you that?
Those people are idiots.
Me. I spread that rumor.
Anyway, so this is Thomas More Coming is kind of like when Cap went to Iron Man in the Civil War. No. All right.
Thomas hates his job, apparently.
No, I don't think he hates his job. I think he hates the position he's being put in by his
Right.
king, who's going against his oath to his faith.
Right.
Well, Richard wants to work with him, and he says, like, go be a teacher. It's a better life. You know?
Yeah.
Which
He
means
knows Rich can't be trusted. He's not an honorable
Rich is
man.
not.
he knows that, but he also reflects on his own position. It's just like, you don't want to be in the position.
Yeah, I'm in a world of shit right
Right.
now.
But he's
Right.
also like, I'm morally strong enough to do the right thing.
Yes.
You'll bend because you're a Weasley little fucking snake.
Kind of, yeah.
That's
He
what
doesn't
he's
come
saying
out and
to
say
Richard.
it, but that's what he means.
Yes.
He's more flowery, you know,
Mhm.
because this is written in 1968 and it's taking
66.
place in the 1500s.
Right.
It's not Brian Rupert at a podcast table in 2024. Yo, Weasley fucking snake.
Fucking snake.
Fuck you, Richard Rich.
Where's Dollar?
So after the Cardinal dies, Thomas is Lord Chancellor.
He's given his job.
He's gotten the golden
Which
rose.
how does Henry not know that this is not your guy?
I don't
You know?
I don't
He's
know.
hoping that they're friendly enough.
Like where he can pressure him?
Yeah, and I thought, didn't Wolsey name him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wolsey kind of fucked Thomas More,
Yeah.
right?
I think Wolsey kind of knew this was bullshit. And he
Yeah.
wanted More to be like, you got to put a stop to this.
Oh, I think he almost did this as a fuck you to More.
Maybe.
'Cause-
That's how it comes off in the movie.
Because in the movie it's like, come with me, help me
Mhm.
with this, and he's like, no.
Yeah.
So
It's
he's
like,
like,
right, now
now,
it's your
that
problem.
I'm dead,
Yeah, it's your
you're gonna
problem.
fucking deal with
It's
this.
almost like when a grandparent says, "I hope you have kids that are
Just
like
like-
you." one
yeah.
day," you know?
But I also think that as noble of a cause Thomas had, Wolsey is like, if you don't help me, I'm pretty much dead.
yeah,
You-
he knows his head
Thomas,
will be on
and
the
Thomas
chopping
is
block.
like, too bad. That's a dick move. It's a dick move.
What do you want? You want him to compromise everything he believes in?
Yes. To save multiple people's lives, to save the trouble of his family,
Mhm.
to save the trouble of his friends, to save the trouble of the people working under him.
And damn all of them to hell.
Damn himself.
Himself and all of them.
Damn himself.
Himself
but
and all of them.
But save the lives of all of the people around him.
Their lives are meaningless.
Nice.
They're going to hell.
What matters?
In their
For
view.
what?
In his view.
Right, but everyone around him is like, hey, you're
We're
a
all
little
going to just
wrong about
prostrate
this.
ourselves.
We'll be
deny
fine.
Christ.
I
I don't think you understand the society they live in.
A psychopath is a psychopath. He'll go do his thing regardless whether you vote for him or not. But you know what? Maybe bite the bullet on
And
this
then
one.
Well, he's
spend-
willing to do that.
Maybe bite the bullet.
He-
Yeah, but he's willing to do it way
willing
too
to.
late.
He's willing to. No. He's willing to accept certain things. He'll accept Anne Boleyn as the queen.
Yeah.
He will not accept that there was a legal divorce that happened. You see what I'm saying?
Who
Yeah.
cares?
You know, he'll go far enough. He'll go just far enough to where it's
He's not going to go over the
heresy.
church's line.
Right. Exactly.
Sure.
He's following his faith, like,
Right.
But everyone around him is going over the church line.
because
Bro,
they're doing the wrong
Fuck
thing.
them.
Because why? well, why? You can get around something, fine. But if you can't get around something and people around you are going to be affected and possibly killed, you're being a selfish person in your pride. That's what you're actually doing.
So
Faith-
getting his head chopped off was him being prideful and selfish.
Till the no. Not look. He wasn't expecting to get his head chopped off until
Yes, he was!
until late in the game.
72,000 people had their heads chopped off. He
Until late in the
understood
game.
the stakes.
Until late in the game. Because wasn't he saying he was willing to take the oath?
No, not
his
the
daughter?
fucked up one.
No, he said he told his daughter to take the oath.
Yes,
To
right.
save her life.
Right.
Because he's still a fucking parent.
Yes,
But
Yes.
he's like, I cannot go
I
against.
cannot do this.
Yeah, I cannot
Right.
cross
But at
this
the same
line.
time, if you cross the line, your whole family's in danger now, even if they took the oath or not. So why wouldn't you
His
just be
daughter
like,
was
I'm going to
taken
save
care
my
of.
family? Like that makes no sense to me.
He knew he was condemning them too, and he told them to get the fuck out of the country. Yeah,
Right. Why would you do that? Why would you condemn your whole family?
Because
because they all go to hell if he doesn't. Hell matters.
Wait. Yeah, that's the thing, Steve. You got to understand this. Maybe you don't believe in hell. Maybe you don't.
But he does.
He does. And like for him, what happens here is nowhere near as important
as what
as
happens in the
there.
afterlife.
Because what happens here is a limited amount of time,
Right.
and that's forever.
Right.
So in his view, it's like, I need to avoid going to hell at all
It's
costs.
far more important than anything that can happen in this life.
I get
Yes.
that. Yes, I get it. I get
So
it.
But you
why-
don't respect
100%
it,
get
and
it.
you shit on it for it.
I'm going to shit on it because
Because
the
you think it's nonsense, so you just go, well,
No.
why didn't he just bend the knee?
you're
To-
you-
to- to-
in
to-
the face of tyranny and death and destruction of
you
every-
must bow
of-
down and submit to it always. Clearly, that is the
Not
natural
always.
order of things.
Not always. Not always. But in this
Like,
situation where it's
why
a
didn't the founding
crazy
fathers
king,
just get taxed to death? why didn't?
we are.
Yeah, I know.
We are.
And we should be doing something about it, but we're not.
And because you'll get your head chopped off. And guess what? You got a pretty decent life if your head's not chopped off.
Yeah, but if heaven and hell are real, it's better to have your head chopped off and go to heaven than to live a Weasley existence and then spend eternity burning in hell. If those are your all right, Steve, right now.
No, I get it. You don't have to explain it to me. I understand it. But, like, his sacrifice, like I said, is a noble thing. It's important. It is.
It's also a Jesus thing too.
That's also another thing. It's like, yes, look, Jesus sacrificed, I can sacrifice. Yes, sacrifice is important. But King Henry VIII, like you said, chopped off 72,000 heads. This is evil incarnate in power, right? Wouldn't you?
He's a tyrant.
He's a tyrant, right? A tyrant can say they're God. And you could be like, whatever, go. Sure, you're God, whatever. But your faith.
Now you've done a mortal sin. Now
But
you've done.
your-
If you say
right.
yes, you are. You've
But
done a mortal
is it
sin.
your
you've
faith
damned
where your
yourself.
heart is,
No.
not what you just tell a psychopath?
Because in the Catholic faith, it's not just faith alone, it's acts. What you do in this life actually matters. It's not just, I believe in God, so I'm saved. No, it's you have to act it out. You have to be a good Christian. If you're not, you will go to hell.
Can I ask
You can say anything you want. If you don't back it up with what you do, it's bullshit.
Can I
Right.
ask you a question?
Yes.
Hypothetically,
Okay.
Thomas More does it, right? He bends the knee.
submits.
He submits.
Yeah.
Could he then go to a Catholic church and do a confessional and beg for forgiveness and be forgiven?
Yes.
Yes, as
Yes.
long as he goes out and denies it publicly.
He would need to go out.
Yes,
and,
he'd have to. You can't just say I'm sorry and not do anything about it and keep living the sin.
Okay, I'm not Catholic, so I'm
Yeah, I mean,
genuinely asking.
but that's what it is. I mean,
okay.
the sin is enduring. You're not actually sorry about it. You're not actually asking for forgiveness.
Okay.
You're just trying to get out of jail free.
So he couldn't do it and then just shut his mouth after.
No.
He would have to still be public about it.
You'd have to deny what is going on.
Okay.
But he might have lived long enough to survive the rain and do confession before death and have a last communion with his soul. That'd be completely okay,
He's
no?
not trying to trick God.
You got me.
get it.
Yeah, you found the way around.
I was sending you to hell
Yeah.
until like 5 seconds ago. You're fucking
it's like
good,
when the
bro.
Hasidic Jews hire people
That's
to
what
hit
it
the
is, though.
elevator button for them.
Yeah.
You're not tricking God.
I don't know. There's some things important in life, man. Family being
Look, all
safe
I'm gonna
is one of
say
them.
is the son of God was a Jew. He may respect a good cunning trick like that. You know?
He knows what's up.
He may be like, you didn't turn on that TV, but you had the Mets on. You're smart.
I can't look. I got nothing. I got nothing on you.
and this
It
is
just happened to be there.
and that's like a great example of why like the Protestants became such a big group because of shit like that, right?
People are gonna have their own ideas about things.
I'm just saying, like, isn't that like the exact
The idea of
arguments
Protestantism
behind that?
is way more appealing on a base level than Catholicism because
Because it doesn't hold you to any standard. It's whatever standard you make up for yourself. Well, they make up for themselves.
be a
Right.
good person, be Christian, believe in Jesus, you go to heaven.
right?
That's
Right.
the
It's,
essential.
but it's the rules they set for themselves. Like, yeah, there's sin and everything in that world. It's not just like willy-nilly, but they've created the parameters of the rules. Instead of a 2,000-year-old, well, at this point, 1,500-year-old system, that's rules being hoisted on a person, you know?
Right, but when hijacked shit like this happens,
Yes.
where you get 72,000 people getting their heads lopped off
Right.
because they're not allowed to say something, like
Mhm.
that's pretty brutal, you know. So as noble as a cause Thomas More had, that's why I said this is kind of stupid because
And regardless of whether you agree
your
with his
faith, your faith is your faith. What a man says, if a man says he's the head of the church and you just go along with it just so you can protect you and your family, hell passing or not, your faith is your faith. You believe in God. You've lived a noble life. If protecting
Steve
your
is
family,
the ultimate Protestant. He's making his own rules and
No, I'm saying,
deciding that this is how
but
it works.
If protecting your family and friends and your life.
You know, I thought the Protestants and the Catholics were done being at war with each other.
I'm gonna
But this
kill 'em.
podcast,
I'm gonna kill
there's a
'em.
fucking war at the table. And I'm just a Jew watching on the sidelines like, holy they!
Yeah, he's gonna join whoever wins. Oh, now you can see why, like, this entire story to me is less.
Oh,
appealing.
yeah.
It's less appealing.
I
You know what
understand.
I mean?
I understand a person who disagrees with the mentality here.
Yes.
100%.
That's why I think
But-
it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
But you can't say what he's doing doesn't have, even if you disagree, a sense of honor to it.
I
And
did say
think-
that.
I think King Henry himself would say that what he's doing is honorable.
I
to
think
an
so.
extent.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did say it.
Henry
was.
knows he's a scumbag. I think on some level,
In the movie, I think it's kind of like hinted at, like,
Yeah.
you know,
he's also a raging maniac.
Hmm.
Like he goes from 0 to 1,000
in the
multiple
movie,
times.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's great.
All right, so where are we in the movie? So the guy wants to marry his daughter, and he basically denies Richard. You know.
Richard.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
went through that. Yeah.
But and then I love when he starts talking about the devil and the benefit of law.
Mhm.
Like, I would give the devil the benefit of the law because the law is what
Yeah.
matters, and
Right.
like
Yeah.
you have to follow it.
Because
And
he's
if
a
we-
humanist.
And if we
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
follow it, the fucking society will crumble.
Right.
Like this shit actually matters,
Mhm.
and due process matters, and we can't just do whatever the fuck we want.
Right.
It's
Yes.
great.
It's humanism.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, it's very very good. Very good stuff.
And now Oh, did we skip when the king
The
comes?
king stops by now.
The king
yes.
stops by.
Comes
yes.
to his house.
What an outfit. The best part
Unannounced.
Yeah.
Of the movie, yeah, best part of the movie is this.
This is the best scene in the
This
movie.
is the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
It's over the top, silly, but also
he's
high stakes serious.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the
He's
king
a
all the time.
very animated, boisterous guy.
Yeah.
And Robert Shaw is just chewing up the scenery.
Oh yeah. Very, very good here. Very charming.
Yes.
He likes Margaret, speaks Latin to her.
Yes.
Clearly wants to bang her.
Yes.
He wants a divorce. We went over this. Thomas is like, I can't do it. I have no queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's
And
great.
this to me though isn't like
He shows up with an entire entourage at the guy's house.
I
Yeah.
have no son.
Ed Big
Yeah.
he's just trying to get the okay from Thomas.
Yeah.
And he respects that
He's
not
trying to
giving
get
it
him on
him.
board with come in for the big win.
He
But-
respects that he's not giving it to him because he's like, yeah, I respect you as a man, but if you don't do this, war's gonna
There's-
happen.
Yeah. Well, he deliberately insults him by leaving with all those people.
Well, the tide was coming. He's got to go.
Right.
He does a quick bounce. He does a quick
He
bounce.
does the QB.
Yeah.
He lets him know you're my enemy now with that.
He has to.
Yeah.
You have to. You know, if you don't have an heir, what happens? You know, like shit hits the fan.
Or there'll be someone that comes along and says, I'm the new rightful ruler.
Yeah.
It can lead to problems.
It can lead to a lot of
Yeah.
problems. It has led to a lot of problems.
Yeah, history, and I could understand it too from the king's perspective.
Sure.
If you're thinking about the betterment of the realm, right?
It's also a cynical power grab on his part.
It is.
Mhm.
But like if you're thinking about it, if you want to take the altruistic approach, which I don't think he was,
Mhm.
but you can make a case that what he's doing,
Is in the best interest of my people.
yes,
Because it'll lead to war and men will die.
exactly. I don't
agree
think
with
that's his approach, but you
Right.
can make that
He
argument.
wants to rob church lands, become the head of the church and the state
Yes.
to make himself essentially infallible.
The
And
ultimate tyrant.
right.
Yeah.
And
But also have an heir.
and also bang whoever he wants.
Right, yeah.
Look, it's good to be the king.
It's
Yeah.
good to be the king, yeah.
So now Cromwell and Richard start plotting because he denies Richard again. And Richard is like, okay, fuck you. I'm going to go to
I'm gonna
Cromwell.
go Cromwell. Cromwell is Wolsey's like protege.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cromwell is like a real scumbag, right?
He's
Yeah.
also thought he was going to be the next Lord Chancellor and got passed over for more.
okay.
So he's like, fuck this guy. I want to plot against him.
I want to destroy him.
Yeah.
And I wrote, Will is like Meathead. Because he's
Oh,
like,
the son.
yeah,
He flip flops onto whatever he needs to be.
yeah.
I think he comes around and becomes kind of a good guy by the end.
You think so?
Yeah.
But he's like,
He always like Thomas More actually respected him. I think.
a little,
Yeah.
yeah.
He just hates the fact
He just
he's a
didn't like that.
heretic.
That he was a
Heretic.
heretic.
But I find
he let his daughter marry him.
But it's funny. He is like Meathead, where he's like kind of the liberal, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
guy that.
No, but then he becomes super Catholic.
by the end. Yeah,
By like the second scene you see him in.
basically,
Yeah.
he's like, I've changed my ways.
Yeah.
I really want to bang your daughter.
Yeah.
She's really hot.
Look, whatever it's gonna take.
Yeah.
But
He fires all
they
his
hire
staff.
Cromwell hires Rich to sully the name of Thomas,
Yes.
and that works. And now, because he lost his position, Thomas steps down as the chancellor. And it's like, well, I'm no longer a lord, pretty much. So the house is gone, and I don't need any
I can't
of you.
afford any
Yes.
of you.
Yeah, you're all gone.
And the new chancellor becomes Chancellor Gorkin.
Right.
Peace in our time.
Yeah.
Our generation's going to have the hardest time living in it.
But which is very nice. He's like, we'll get you jobs. You're not going to be out of a
Real
job.
quick about Chancellor Gorkin. Do you
Sure.
remember years ago? I don't know if we spoke about this before the show. We went to Dave and Buster's one year for my birthday,
Yeah.
and like I won like a bunch of tickets, and the thing I had enough for was like
An action figure.
it was a plaque. It was a plaque with a card in it of Chancellor Gorkin.
Gorkin from Star Trek 6. A side character from Star Trek 6.
That nobody gives a fuck about,
Yeah.
but that's what I got.
You still have it?
I don't know where it is. I probably threw it out. Like, what the fuck am I doing with a thing of Chancellor Gorkin? All right, I'm sorry, Steve.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say, after he lets his servants go, he's like, "We're gonna get you jobs." I believe he meets with the Duke, and he says, "There's a war against the church and the king now, and we got to pick sides." And the Duke is kind of hinting, like, "Hey, like I'm on your side, but." And then Thomas is like, "Oh, really? Then why aren't you on the king's side?" And it's like, this is the time we're living in. People are going to be cutthroat. They're going to stab each other in the back.
And the Duke also says, "Duh."
And he says, "Duh."
Duh.
Jesus.
This movie should have had John Wayne in it.
What would he do? He would have no. Can you imagine him?
Now you listen here, Henry.
Because you know he's not putting an accent on.
No.
I'm speaking on behalf of the king.
I speak for a man in his own faith.
Where are we in the film? Norfolk, right? He does the fake. He ends his friendship with Norfolk and fake insults him.
Yes.
That was a
We
good
are
scene.
no longer friends.
Yeah.
It's like the meme.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the two Indian guys.
Yeah.
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 He throws him on the ground.
Yeah.
The king thinks he throws a party, and he thinks he
The
sees
wedding.
Thomas, and he runs over to say hi to him, but it's not him, and he gets sad.
Yeah, because he wants Thomas
he
to get
wants
on board
Thomas
with it. He
there,
likes
yeah.
Thomas. He
Yeah.
respects him.
Well, Thomas also has a lot of sway over the common people, right?
They love him too.
respect him.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
like, oh, more
It's like-
people on board.
And if he had showed up at the wedding, it would be an admission that this is all on the up and up.
He's a very fair guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Thomas.
Like Val, what's his name?
Vicente?
Yeah, Vicente.
No one's going to know about this.
He used to be this Caribbean guy. I don't know what, Ghana, wherever the fuck
I think he was
from.
Caribbean.
His name is Vicente. And he used to be a rapper in his home country, Jetro Negro. Apparently, he had some level of fame out there. But here in America, he worked at Applebee's. And that guy, Greg, we've mentioned before in the past, was a big fan of him, said he was fair. But one time, me and Brian were sitting in a room and talking. We were making gay innuendo. We were talking about pitching and catching.
Yes.
And then Vicente heard us talking, and he thought we were actually talking about baseball, but we were really talking about ass fucking. And then he came into the room, and he told Brian, "Are you a pitcher or a catcher, Poppy?" And Brian goes, "I'm a pitcher." And he goes, "With a guy like me catching, you'd be a great pitcher."
What if he didn't know? What if
No,
he,
he thought we were talking about baseball.
Oh, but what if he what if he knew? What if he knew and he was actually coming on to me?
that is a R-rated Seinfeld moment. It really is. It really is.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's very funny. I think of it sometimes.
Thomas meets with Richard Cromwell because he's getting charged, or they're trying to put a charge on him. This I kind of zoned out on this one because I was like, I'm kind of out of it. So, yeah, Duke and Thomas fight.
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
Yeah, and
It's-
then
Then he goes home.
and then he goes home.
There's like a good hour and a half to 2 hours of this where it feels like my dinner with Andre, only political.
No.
Only political. It's
There's a
not
lot of
conversation.
time spent watching him go back and forth
Yes.
from the ballot.
Yeah. a lot of travel.
So I like he gets summoned now, Thomas More, and he's got to go back.
Uh-huh.
And he's talking to Cromwell now. He's like being interrogated, I guess.
Yeah, interrogated,
Questioned.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Did you write the king's book?"
Yeah.
He's like, "No, but I agree with everything in there."
Yes.
Yeah.
And he knows that the king will never perjure himself, so he
Yes.
has no problem like telling the
Yeah,
truth
he's
about
like, ask him.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
And after that scene, he's like eventually let go, and he goes to take the boat
Boatman.
home, and
They won't take
Take
him.
him.
Like, fuck you.
He's got to walk.
yeah. And now there's an oath decree by Parliament,
Yeah.
so that's a real thing.
Yeah. So essentially, it's like the king and the parliament has decreed that he has a divorce. Anne Boleyn is the new queen, and that well, that's it really. And Thomas More cannot sign it because he can agree to one part of it, but he can't agree to the other. So he just stays quiet about it. He doesn't sign it. He doesn't say why he's not signing it. He's just like, it's up to you. You can figure it out on your own. Guess why I'm not.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant because it doesn't
Incriminate
actually
him.
have him breaking the law at any point.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna chop my head off, you're gonna have to find a reason to do it. And I'm not gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
So they throw him in the Tower of London for the next year.
Is that why he's the man for all seasons?
I think so, yeah. Because if you look, there's that one scene where he looks out the window and the seasons change.
Yeah, and they're trying to say he's the man who's experienced all
seasons.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Renaissance song for all seasons? I think it's one of their best songs.
I don't know it.
It's great. It's a great album.
What do you think about the Dream Theater song Change of Seasons?
That is their best song.
That's their best song?
I think so.
Okay.
You don't agree?
Octavarium is my favorite.
I don't know.
You like Octavarium better than Change of Seasons?
Yeah.
I like a lot of
Octavarium's good, but then that end part where he's just yelling trapped inside an Octavarium is really not good. Because James LaBrie isn't that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Trapped inside this Octavarium.
Yeah. Not that.
Shut up, James LaBrie. I'm not buying it.
You're not trapped anywhere.
I'm not buying what you're selling.
Yeah.
It's funny. So that oath is out, and he tells his daughter, "Take it. You'll be fine."
Oh, and Richard Rich just keeps selling trade secrets to fucking Cromwell.
Yeah, he's
and advancing, becoming like a powerful guy.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
Now I just confused myself.
Why?
You said he tells Meg to take the oath, right?
he does.
Wouldn't that damn her soul?
It would.
So why is that okay?
Well,
Why is it okay for her but not for him if it protects her?
Look, I don't know. I don't remember the exact thing that happened in the movie.
Because she doesn't have to take the oath.
Brian said that he told her to take the oath, but I don't remember that. So I'm not gonna fucking.
I believe he asked what was.
I will remain silent on this.
Yeah. I believe he asked her what was in the oath because that's critical.
Right. He wants the wording.
Yeah.
Because if he can find a way around it, he'll take the oath.
Yeah. But he can't.
But
I don't think he says for her to.
I don't think he.
I can't imagine.
I can't imagine he would either.
I thought he does.
Because that would have just negated everything we fought about.
Right. There's no way he wanted her to take it.
But wouldn't she have to take the oath?
To not get her head chopped off? Yes.
Not every person needs to go and sign a paper. That's
Okay.
crazy. It's just like
Important people
in the government would have to sign the paper. You know?
Yeah. Makes sense. So he gets arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And at this moment, I thought of Mass Effect.
Really?
Yes.
Did you play Mass Effect?
No. I played it with you like once, which
you
was
played it for like 10 minutes.
For 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you got very angry at me.
Well, you were picking all the worst choices on purpose. You were being a dick.
Oh, he took.
So like RPG games, you're supposed to like make choices that lead you into like character development.
And he's like picking all like the dumbest things.
I made all the military choices with like, no, I don't want to talk to you. We're going on the mission.
Yeah.
Just, like,
I'd rather shoot you than fucking see how this story plays out. You're ruining everything. They spent a lot of time and work making a wonderful story for everybody. And you're like, I'm just going to blow this guy's head off.
No, I don't want to talk to this woman at the mission. I skip over the I did the same thing in Baldur's Gate.
Did you?
I skipped over. I lost like 3 characters. So I was like, nope, I'm going here.
Beeline.
Yeah, beeline. But you were like, you missed like 9 characters. I fought half the game with one person.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to go back and get like a bunch of people because you told me, you were like, why didn't you go to the ship? I'm like, it was crashed. Why would I go in there?
Yeah, but you gotta go check it out. Like, look around.
I left.
Seems like there's nothing to see here.
But no, the reason why
Did you fuck the bear?
No, I didn't fuck the bear. We went over this.
I know.
But there's a video game quote from Mass Effect that I read.
Oh.
And I was like, this is an amazing quote. and it's kind of pertinent to this, right?
What is it?
Because would you say that Moore is an honorable man in this situation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mass Effect quote: "Stand amongst the ashes of a trillion dead souls and ask the ghosts if honor mattered.
Oh yeah, I remember
The
that.
silence is your answer."
Who said it? Do you remember who said
I
it?
can't remember the fucking name.
No.
You can look it up. It's a famous thing.
Yeah, it's about the Reapers.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? That's a good quote for this. Yeah. Does your honor matter when you're gone? Probably not.
But it's not honor, it's his eternal soul, which would matter.
If you believe in it, I guess. Sure. His family visits him in prison.
Yeah,
And
this
they're all
this
like-
is a heartbreaking scene.
They're
Yeah.
all like, "You fucking asshole."
They're all trying to break him. Like the government is using his
They're
family
sent him,
against
yeah.
him. Yeah.
It's like the Kardashians in Star Trek, like trying to break
Yeah.
like Picard almost.
They've
you know?
been
That was
on
the government sending them?
Yeah,
I thought they were just
in
visiting.
order to visit, they were coerced. They were told you must swear to try and convince him to confess to whatever.
Do you
They say it.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah.
That
Otherwise,
makes-
he never would have been given a visit.
Right.
You know.
Do you think that if they weren't told to say that, they would have probably said that anyway? Because at points the wife is just like, you're useless to me,
the
dead.
daughter wouldn't, but the
No.
mother would.
The mother is like,
She was weaker than the rest of them.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
like,
Weaker?
whatever.
I don't know, weaker.
Well, she
I think realist.
she's
Like-
she just wants it to go away.
They're going to be
You
thrusted
know?
into poverty. They're going to lose their father. They're going to.
Yeah.
This is a horrible situation for everyone involved.
Yes.
They might be killed on the way
But
out.
then before it's over, she becomes a converted. He gets her on board with him. You know.
I mean, what else are you going to do? You can't force the guy.
Look, she loves her husband. She doesn't want to see his head removed.
It's usually not ideal.
Right.
No.
She's not a praying mantis. It's ideal in that situation.
And that's, yeah.
So they're begging, and now he gets the trial,
Yeah.
which is a good scene. Richard's called in.
Yeah. And just perjures and lies.
Yeah, just being a complete liar.
Yeah.
But that's what they want to hear, so
Yep.
that's what they go with.
Yep.
And then he gets to have his say, where he just was like, "This is all bullshit."
Yeah, at the end, because
Yeah.
now he could say whatever he
because
wants.
I'm done. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I think of you all,
Yep.
Yeah.
and it's great.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
And then we get the execution. It's not in the movie, but
Not glorious.
they will put his head on London Bridge.
Yep.
They
They say it like,
Trader's
it's like a
Gate, I believe.
postscript.
Yeah.
Trader's Gate.
His daughter will actually end up taking the head.
Keeping
and,
with her for a year.
She keeps it, and it's today. It's used in reliquary because he's a saint. I don't know if you guys know that.
No, he's a saint now.
Thomas More is a saint. And they use pieces of his head as like relics.
It's like
Really?
the saint
Oh,
of
yeah.
law.
Yeah.
So you can get like a piece of his head as a.
No, you can't get it. They have it like in a church that you can go and pray and like honor it.
Yeah. You could go up, crack a piece off, make it into a necklace for a
I
couple
thought
of
like
bucks.
they sell it.
He's not a Ferengi.
What rule is that?
That's how the Ferengi
Profit
like
even after death.
funeral. They sell pieces of themselves. I want a piece of quark.
Yeah.
That's right, because the more money you make in life, the more
Yeah,
valuable.
more honored you are.
Yeah.
Right, right. The band Mayhem was just making skull for thinking it was a saint, not
Yeah, Euronymous is relics.
The holy relics.
Holy relics of Euronymous. Dead was dead.
I think this was also a misstep in direction here. The ending.
Why?
I get why. I get why. It's very fast.
Mm-hmm.
There's no music.
Right. He tells the executioner, "You're
it's
doing a
sudden.
good thing."
He's
So
like
he forgives him.
He
Yeah.
forgives him.
He's like, "You send me to God."
You said he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, don't feel bad. I'm
Mhm.
gonna be welcomed.
Right.
And it's just a quick like, and it ends.
Well, in Thomas More's view, this is great. I'm gonna go to heaven now.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Yeah, yeah. But I think it could have been done with a little more emotional direction there. You feel nothing. At least I didn't.
I think you're supposed to feel like
Respect.
hopeful, respectful defiance.
Yeah.
You know?
A little music could have.
Standing up for what's right.
A little music would have been good. I just think it was.
It's so much more dignified than Mel Gibson screaming freedom, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, basically.
It's like a classier version of that.
But you feel more for Mel Gibson in that moment.
Oh, you definitely feel. I felt for both of them. To be honest with you, it's just a different style of doing the same scene.
Right. I would go with the Mel Gibson way. I think that not torture,
It's a matter of taste,
but at
that's
least music would have. It's a movie. You know, at the end of the day, it's a movie. I'm not looking for a biopic.
It's a '60s style, I think.
Is that?
Yeah, it's 1960.
You know, it's
I don't think that is.
It's Charlton Heston on the beach with just the waves. You know.
But yeah, I guess I see that point. But I also feel like in the 60s they were doing like a little more glamorous stuff here and there.
Sure.
You know? Like,
Well, you know better than us, Brian. Give us some examples.
Well, I mean, you got
some of them other movies.
typical 60s downer ending.
Yeah.
I thought that was more like a 70s, 80s. It was typical of the
There's
60s.
definitely a 70s
late
thing.
60s. Look, I'll say maybe from like, let's say 1965 until basically 1976 is just downer ending.
Vietnam
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So this is that. I mean, you could also, if you want to look at what's happening, this is a Vietnam dissenter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you're thinking about the time period this is made in.
Mhm.
So that's
Well, you're a film guy. What do you think of that? Like, could that ending have been better? Are you on the same page here? Or are you just like, you liked it?
I think it's fine. I think anytime
Middle of the road.
No. I think anytime you're going with a quiet
Offspring.
Keep them separated.
No, that's.
Oh, quiet offspring.
the wrong band.
Yeah, and you didn't do the joke, Craig. You gotta keep them separated. That's a quiet offspring.
That's good, yeah. Well, Thomas More, all the girlies say he's pretty fly for a white guy.
But you were okay with it.
I think it's like just a quiet, dignified thing where it's like you're meant to feel more respect and admiration than like sympathy and like
For the devil.
yeah, it's like
At least give me a trumpet.
Trumpet. That'd be great if like the scene is happening and then it's just like Dizzy Gillespie doing a jet.
he's gone.
Brian's leaving.
He quit.
I guess so. I guess we're done.
He's done.
But yeah, I think this movie is spectacular. I'm not going to give it a 10.
I think the story is spectacular. I don't think the movie is spectacular.
I respect your opinion. I just don't agree with it.
I respect yours too. Do you think that's a fair assessment that I made? The story is spectacular, but the movie is not spectacular.
I can understand that. I'll disagree. I mean, you're supposed to see all the weight and social forces coming down on one man.
Yeah.
And his blind refusal for his faith, but it could be any reason, honestly, where he's just not going to give in.
Yeah.
You could tell this story really, you could
100 different ways.
transport it a
Right.
million
Right.
different times, a million different ways.
And it has been.
But this is just, it's the 1960s. Now that I'm saying Vietnam, it's obviously fucking about a Vietnam dissenter.
Yeah.
And they're just transporting it to the ancient story of Thomas More. And it works, you know?
I think I'll like the 80s one better.
I did want to talk about the scene where we first meet Henry VIII.
Okay. Where he gets off the boat.
He gets off the boat. So he walks out and he screeches on the chalkboard and everybody stops and he goes,
Yeah.
I'll find you new religion. I'll find Catholicism for 5, but I'll build a new church for 10.
Why didn't you do that an hour ago?
It's
I
so
meant to
late.
and I
It's
forgot.
so late.
I think I got caught up with you guys fighting, and I really just wanted to get it out there. I need to get it out of my head.
We spoke about that scene for so long.
Farewell and adieu.
You ever see a Lutheran's eyes?
How many Robert Shaw movies have you seen?
Well, he's also
Oh.
in From Russia with Love.
Oh,
He plays Red Grant. He has the train fight with Bond. It's one of the best
great.
moments in film. Jaws, this. I don't know
Pelham
what
1, 2,
else.
3.
Pelham 1, 2, 3. Those might be the only ones I've actually
All of
seen.
them are killer.
He's like one of the best actors. He was nominated for this and it didn't win.
If he wasn't in this, the movie just falls so short.
Every scene with him is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's only in like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I don't think the movie falls short without him. I do think he elevates it immensely, though. I'm giving it a 9.
Oof.
Okay. Tough. I'm going to give this a 8. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
I almost said 7.5, but I decided 8 at the last minute.
Okay.
Not something I want to watch too often. It's very talky, but I just...
If this comes around every 10 years, I'm happy. I don't need to watch it all the time.
Yeah, I enjoy and I do respect it, and like it's just a great acting masterclass.
Yeah.
You know,
Steve.
My personal opinion is low for the scale that you guys are at. I can respect it. I want to go like a 5.5 to a 6. I'll probably go for 6. I wouldn't want to watch this again. It's good for what it is. Not my cup of tea. If you're like me, you probably are not going to enjoy this.
What number are you giving it?
6. It's
Okay.
got good. It's got good. Like,
If you didn't like the movie, that's a good score.
yeah, King Henry is gold in this. You know.
what's the song we're picking?
Oh God.
Fuck.
I said change of seasons.
How about
That's funny.
the entire album, The Six Wives of Henry VIII by Rick Wakeman?
Okay, there you go.
Jesus Christ.
That's funny.
So good.
There's an obscure one for you guys.
So good. In its entirety.
Well, every song is a different wife. And it's the long piano concertos.
Jeez.
I have to go to the bathroom shockingly bad, so
Just
I'm
go.
going to
We're
go.
Get
signing
here.
out.
All right, well, hold on. I did a sketch.
What?
Steve can
I
look
thought
at it.
we
No, we
eclipsed
abolished
this.
I like the sketch segment.
it now?
No.
He just sketched it now.
He went outside to sketch
He got a pen.
He went
to
outside to sketch it because he's
now.
a fucking loser. Because he doesn't want to do this bit.
I want to do the bit. I didn't know what to draw until we were talking. The inspiration struck.
Is that a dog?
No, it's not a dog.
That's a dog.
No.
That has 4 legs.
Well,
and
yeah.
a tail.
Yeah, it's a table.
Huh?
It's a table or bench.
What am I looking at? No, it's not.
Yeah, it's a giant axe.
That's a dog with the shamrock for a head.
Well, no, that's his head being cut off at the end.
He didn't get his head cut off on a bench. It was like a log stump.
That's the log stump. He's like bend over it.
You don't. I'm with him. You don't got to do it anymore.
But I like doing
It's
it.
so.
I just didn't know what to do for this one. So
Also, your axe is a thing of beauty.
I think
It
so.
really is. I want maybe. How much is it to like hire like somebody who's metallurgy, like that could like sculpt an axe?
Yeah.
I want them to sculpt this.
To
I
make
need
this
to see
axe.
this in real life. Like I really do.
It'd be a very deadly weapon.
It would be a confusing weapon to everyone involved.
How am I supposed to kill with
What
this?
am I supposed to do?
With this. All right, you want to say bye?
Bye. Thank you for listening, watching, like, subscribe, share, all that jazz.
Well, I give a big thank you to everybody listening and or watching. I want to give a big thank you to Tell 'em Steve, Dave, Brywell, Q, Get 'em. Last record down in the studio. We greatly appreciate it. Please follow the show on all social media at Review History Pod on Twitter, Reviewing History Pod everywhere else. Follow me personally on all social media at Brian Rupert. That's with 2 P's. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank and review every single movie I watch, even the ones in my personal life. Don't forget to go to Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review. It helps potential sponsors find the show. Go on Spotify, review it. Go to reviewinghistorypod.com to buy some merch. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.